For decades, a grooming gang scandal has blighted this country, particularly across our northern towns. The shocking stories made national news headlines in the early 2010s, but the question remains, have we moved on without fully addressing many of these issues behind this scandal? Well, now a GBNews investigation has sought to restart a national conversation about this crisis and find out what went wrong then and what needs to change now. Grooming Gangs, Britain's Shame, a new documentary aired on Saturday night on GBNews and is available in full on our GBNews YouTube channel. But let's dive into its issues now. Alexander Stafford is the Conservative MP for the Rother Valley, who has consistently spoken up for the victims of these gangs and to end child sexual exploitation. Alex, thank you for joining us this morning. I suppose, first of all, why has this big scandal sort of drifted away from the front pages of our newspapers when it seems to still be going on?
Well, good morning there, Tom, and that's exactly right. Obviously, when it came to light in the mid-2010s, it was big news, everyone's talking about it. But I think that's the problem, everyone thinks it's gone away. And what is especially hard-hitting, as your GB News report said on Saturday night, is there's numerous Labour councillors in Rotherham who were part of the grouping that was told about CSE and did nothing, and yet they're still councillors sitting on Rotherham Council. And it almost seems like, one, the media attention has gone away, we can just continue as we were before. And it's great that GB News is actually shining a light on this abhorrent situation where these sitting councillors are still serving despite attending the various briefings warning them about CSE.
Now, of course, some of these councils have restructured. There have been a number of reports into what went wrong. Things are clearly slightly different now to what they were like in the early 2010s, but I suppose in your view, not different enough.
Well, that's exactly right. What we're seeing from all the evidence is that the way children and girls are being groomed has definitely changed. In Rotherham, there was an issue around taxis. That seems to have been sorted out, but we're hearing that's now moved on to different parts. Whether it's online, whether it's through petrol stations, above fast food outlets, we're hearing. But what's more worrying is the culture. The councillors who presided over this absolutely horrific situation where 1,500 girls in Rotherham were raped, some of them are still in position. And that, to me and to many people, is deeply concerning. The people who presided over the failure of the council who did cover up CSE, who did not acknowledge what was happening, are still in place and still in positions of power and authority. And that really sticks in the claw of many survivors. And actually, if you don't change the people involved, how can we ever have proper change to protect our girls going forward?
What is particularly shocking about so many of these cases is how many of the alleged perpetrators have got away with it, have not ended up going to prison, how victims have withdrawn complaints over fears for their own safety, how so much of this seems to operate extrajudicially. What needs to change in terms of getting these people that have been perpetrating these horrific evils behind bars?
Well, the main thing is making sure it is reported, and then when it is reported, that the police and all the relevant authorities, including the council, but social service and other aspects, take these complaints seriously. One of the big problems we had previously is when the victims came forward to say that they were being victims, the police, the council, not only didn't actually believe many of them, they often in several situations handed them back to the perpetrators and claimed that they were their boyfriends and other such ridiculous things. We clearly need to have a complete culture shift. If people come forward to report a grooming, they need to be taken completely seriously, believed, and a thorough and full investigation. And what's more, we should definitely have a complete, serious look at the historic crimes to make sure those people who did commit those crimes are put behind bars, because there should never be a time where people who committed such horrific actions ever think it's safe for them to go outside and safe for them to be in free society, because they shouldn't. They should be in jail.